guys, Jim Archeco here, Archeco Homes team. It might be a little dark above me here because I have just shut the power off to this switch. I'm going to show you guys all how to change out a regular single pole switch to a slide dimmer. Everybody loves dimmers. They're great to put on any lighting fixture you have that is dimmable. A couple of key things when you're going to buy a dimmer: there's a vast variety of styles and different types of dimmers. You want to make sure that you buy the type of dimmer that is suitable for the type of fixture that you're dimming. Right here we are dimming 4-inch LED can lights. So our dimmer is suitable to dim LED lights. Some LED lights are not dimmable. You need to check into that as well. And like I said, there's other styles. We're going to use a toggle switch, just like a normal switch with a little slide on the side. And I'm going to open this up and show you this right here. And this is what the dimmer looks like. It's just your up and down, and it has a little slide on the side. There's a ton of other different styles: complete slide dimmers, push dimmers, whatever suits your needs and whatever your preference is the dimmer that you should buy. This particular dimmer can be used for a single pole switch or for a three-way application. In a three-way application, you're going to use all the screws involved here. On a single pole, you're going to use the bottom screws on this one. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to make sure your power's off. We have already shut it off in our breaker box, and as you can see, our light doesn't come on, so we have no power in this box right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the existing switch out, and we're just going to use a Phillips head screwdriver to do that. Everybody should have that in their homeowner toolbox. We're just going to unscrew the switch here, just like so. Now remember to always test your power before you work on anything. So we're going to pull that switch right out, and we're going to see a bunch of wires. And what we got coming into a single pole switch is we have a power wire, and we have a black wire up to return to the light as the switch leg, and then back in there are the neutrals tied together to make the complete circuit, and then you have the ground to the green screw. So in this case, this switch was installed being pushed in the back, so we're actually going to have to cut these wires and re-strip them. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Sometimes they'll be onto the screws and you'll just back them out and pull them off. But in this case, we're going to have to cut these real close. So we're going to use a pair of linesmans here, because that's what I have here. And we're just going to get them real close and snip our wires. And since this ground is long enough, instead of unscrewing that, we'll give that a snip too. We've removed our old switch. So now we're going to take our pair of strippers, and we're going to strip back these wires, just like so. We're going to give ourselves enough wire exposed to work with. And we might need just a little bit more on that one and a little bit more on this one. Be sure when you're stripping your wires to use the right part of the strippers so you don't put a kink in your wire and it break off. Alright, so our dimmer came with a pigtail for the ground. And like I said, we're using a single pole switch here, so we're going to use the two terminals on either side of this dimmer. This is for a three-way application. So with this dimmer came a wire nut, and this is for the ground. All the dimmers are labeled with a little marking that lets us know which way is up. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spin this ground together and get it right out of the way to begin with. We're going to get the wire nut right on there. We're going to give that a little tug to make sure it's secure, and we're going to tuck that back in the box. So now what we want to do is we want to get these screws on these terminals here, or we can plug them in here for the ease of speed. And we can do that just like this. 14 2-wire I'll plug right into the back like that. If you happen to have 12, you cannot plug it into the back. And if you would like to put the wire on the terminal, you can do that as well. You're going to make a little loop and make sure you put it on the screw the way the screw turns to keep it tight. But as a homeowner, that would be the easiest way to change this out to a dimmer. Now you're going to tuck your wires neatly back in there and line up your screws on your holes of your box and screw that back in just like so. Actually, we gotta just get it lined up there. We'll get that right back in, get it nice and straight, secure it up. This dimmer actually has a little dial. Now I'm gonna go turn the power back on it. I'm gonna show you how to, play with that for your liking and turn the dimmer on. So just give me a second, I'll turn the power back on and we'll be ready to go. So now we have turned the power back on at the breaker box, and if we flip this switch, we should have light. And our toggle dimmer here will dim these lights by moving it up and down, all the way down to nothing, and all the way up to full brightness. Now if we move this little blue dial on our dimmer switch, it will change the ability to only bring it down that far, that's dim, and it'll change the amount that you can dim it and brighten it, and it only go down that far. Depending on how we move this dial, will change how far down it can dim. In this case, we're going to dim them all the way down to 0, because that's what our customer wants, full dimmability. And he has the ability, or she has the ability, to fully dim the lights. Now everybody might be asking what this second hole is over here in this box. This is for a future switch that is going to go into the room over here where the lights are not hooked up yet. So that's pretty much a pretty simple thing that any homeowner can do to change a switch out to a dimmer. If anybody has any questions on it, just feel free to give us a call and we can help you out.